Thank you for stopping by, moderator. Good morning. Oh, are you by yourself? Morning, Pearls. Mr. Nick, please tell me, what's gonna happen to Mystic Maya? When I'm dead? I'm sorry, we don't know yet. The investigation is still going on, so I wasn't allowed into the inner temple. Oh, I see. So, is Sister Iris still trying to remove those trick clocks in the training hall? No, she's the defendant in this case, so she can't be at the inner temple. She's required to be here in court. Then how come she's not here in the defendant's lobby? I have to admit it's kind of strange. I don't know whose voice this is. If you're looking for Iris, she's in the prosecutor's lobby. The eye tracking thing is blowing my mind. Yeah. Hello, depressed moderator. I hope you feel better. For Iris, she's in the prosecutor's lobby. Okay. Oh, it's Edgeworth. Edgeworth. What's Iris doing over here? Oh, over there. Also, hello, Breaker Bones. Welcome. The eye tracking's super weird. Sometimes I forget to turn it on. It's usually just embarrassing in this type of game, though. She's going over today's testimony with the prosecutor as we speak. Today's testimony? You heard me. Iris is going to be testifying as a witness for the prosecution. Wait, what? The prosecutor is squeezing her for a confession. Or so I've heard. Oh man. I'm sorry, Liv. That sucks. Franziska von Karma, what are you up to? I know what you're thinking, but Franziska isn't going to be the prosecutor today. What? Then who is? Who else would it be but Godot? Godot? Can I do his voice today? I don't know. Franziska is engaged in some important work at the Sacred Cavern. Oh my god. Wintermute! Thank you! Oh my god. That spooked me a little bit. I was like, what? What is going on? Thank you. Congratulations to Epic, Mystica Killer, Roxas, Raccoon Buffoon, and Bubbaloo. Jumpscare Metroid Crime, yeah. Congrats, everyone. Welcome to the MCU. Franziska is engaged at some important work in the Sacred Cavern. The Sacred Cavern? You don't mean that she's... Exactly. She has been out there all night trying to remove those trick locks. With the head nun's assistance, naturally. We estimate that the last of the locks should be taken care of in about 3 hours. I hope everything continues to go smoothly and we receive some good news soon. Yeah, thanks, Edgeworth. Prosecutor Godot intends to nail this case shut today. Be prepared to fight like there's no tomorrow. You don't have to tell me that. Touché. I can already see it in your eyes. You're not the same fever-ridden, frantic maniac you were yesterday. It's strange. On the way here, I decided that today would be the end of all of this. Almost immediately after I made that decision, I felt myself getting stronger. Interesting. Maybe you've passed your cold on to someone else. Literally. And with that, I leave the rest in your capable hands, partner. Oh, look at his little smirk! This is so cute! Thanks. Oh. I still don't have answers for most of the riddles plaguing this case. Edgeworth smirk. Oh man, Liv, I'm sorry. That sucks. circumstances around the murder of Miss Elise Donim... No, I mean Miss Misty Faye. The impossible flight Larry claims to have seen. And what that woman is really after. I will solve them all and bring this whole tragedy to an end. We're in the end game, guys. Court is now in session for the trial of Iris of Hazakura Temple. Your Honor, what do you... Who? Me? Well, my little brother came to visit me in my chambers earlier this morning. All of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, he developed a scorching fever and fainted. Therefore, I'll be standing in for him. I see, Your Honor. So they're brothers. That explains a lot. Isn't one of them Canadian and the other isn't? My poor brother, he looked a bit pale, not to mention sad that he couldn't be here. Liv, stop putting yourself down! Ah! Oh, man. This is some good music. Do we take a drink when Godot gets a fresh coffee? Fuck. I would be down for that, but not- I can't do that tonight. A sip of water. Well, you know what? You should be drinking more water anyway. But then when he gets a new cup of coffee. It is impossible to predict what- Oh my god. I can't go low enough on this voice. It's impossible to predict what the future has in store for any of us. This is precisely why people feel the need to judge the past. And we of the court have been charged with the solemn duty of passing such judgment. Well said, Mr. Godot. I understood exactly what you said, at least up until the end, anyway. Now then, Mr. Godot, please proceed with your opening statement. Humans are fragile, fickle beings. Our hearts change with the shifting of the tides. There's only one thing that remains as a constant in this crazy world. The bitter darkness that lies at the bottom of this mug. Oh, hey, Touch of Oblivion, welcome. So then you mean, forget it. What do you mean? During yesterday's trial, the accused refused to admit her role in the crime. But today, she had a change of heart. Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple has a confession to make. Confession? The defendant? Hey, Kid Boo. Well, I had no choice. Iris? Why didn't she discuss this with me first? Very well. This court will now hear the defendant's confession. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask for her name and profession. That's one of my rules. My name is Iris. I am but a simple nun undergoing training at Hazakura Temple. Witness, is there something you want to confess to? Yes. But first, I want to apologize to Mr. Wright. I can't continue lying to everyone anymore. It's alright. What is it? Mr. Wright, I have to admit that I did play a part in this terrible incident. Are you actually confessing? Are you saying that you were the one who murdered Miss Elise Donim? No, I'm not, Your Honor. But I dealt with the cover-up after the murder took place. After her spirit left, I took the lifeless shell of Mystic Elise and carried it to the Hazakura Temple courtyard where I desecrated it.
What? What? Order in the court. Order. Witness, are you saying you were an accomplice to the murder? Sorry, my lips are really dry. Motherfucker. Well, bye, lip chap. That's gone.
Yes, that's correct.
What? 3 minutes in court and I've already covered in cold sweat. Drink.
Everyone in the planet is an accomplice to something. It just happens to be that in this case, it's to murder. Isn't that right, Mr. Trite?
Plans, I'm gonna ban you. Ugh, that Godot.
So this is the confession they were conferring about. It pains me to say this, but it looks like Iris's testimony was all a lie.
Crumpled up and shoved into a pocket.
Now then, little lady, if you don't mind, I've got a question for you. Whose crime were you trying to cover up by your actions?
Do you want me to type? No, it's okay. Che, it's fine. Also, hello. 600 minutes?
Iris was covering for someone?
Now I'm definitely up the creek without a paddle or a life jacket.
I've been at Hazakura Temple ever since I was a little girl. Hazakura Temple is run by one of the branch families of the Korean tradition.
No, I haven't. I'm probably not gonna get around to it. I'm pretty sure the copy that I had on hold from the library is now gone. 10. It's 10 minutes or in 600 seconds.
Hazakura Temple is run by one of the branch families of the Korean tradition. One of our missions is to protect the main family.
I'm sorry, but main family?
Yes, and that's why I would dirty myself, if need be, to protect her. The daughter of the master of...
Text is going way too slow.
The daughter of the master of the Korean channeling technique, Mystic Maya Fey.
Huh?
Wake up and smell the coffee, Trite.
She's naming Maya? Order in the court. So not only did you witness the murder, you know the name of the murderer.
I'm terribly sorry, but it's true. I saw her commit the crime with my very own eyes. And then I cleaned up the area to try to protect her.
That's ridiculous. Maya could never do such a... The defense will refrain from commenting until the appropriate time. Now, witness, let's hear your testimony. What exactly happened on the night of the crime?
Yes, Your Honor.
I thought I was prepared for the unexpected, but I never imagined the case would wind up going in this direction.
I went to the inner temple that night and I saw it all happen in the garden. I saw Mystic Elise strike Mystic Maya with her staff. While Mystic Maya was still stumbling, Mystic Elise moved in to deliver a fatal strike. Mystic Maya tried desperately to defend herself and stole the weapon. It was only in self-defense. You can't blame her for it.
So it was in self-defense.
Yes, Mystic Elise was the one who attacked first.
Hmm.
That's why I tried my best to protect Mystic Maya.
You moved the victim's body to the temple so that Maya wouldn't be suspected. Isn't that right? Not bad. You've got the instincts of a true criminal.
Something's not quite right. I'm sure it was established yesterday that Iris never went to the inner temple that night. And that the person who did go was that woman. Iris even admitted it.
Now then, Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination.
I went to the inner temple that night and I saw it all happen in the garden. Sister Iris, your testimony has changed quite a bit since yesterday. You stated yesterday that on the night of the murder, you didn't go to the inner temple.
Objection!
Did she now? Too bad for you, what she said yesterday doesn't matter much today.
Or mean much today.
By the way, where were you when she claimed that she didn't go?
I was in the inner temple's training hall.
A private conversation between the two of you does not constitute testimony. That would be properly described as heresy.
What do you have to say, witness?
I just couldn't tell him the truth at that time. Mystic Maya? She's your girlfriend, isn't she? I didn't want to be the one to break it to you that I saw her commit murder.
There. We all understand how difficult this is for you. Now then, let's continue with the testimony. What did you witness in the temple garden?
Well, Your Honor.
That was interesting. Phoenix didn't respond to that. He just responded with an exclamation mark.
I saw Mystic Elise strike Mystic Maya with her staff.
You're saying that the victim attacked Maya. I mean, Miss Faye?
Yes, it was a truly frightening scene. Mystic Maya was struck hard on the head and looked like she was gonna collapse.
What were you doing at the time?
Why didn't you stop them from-
why didn't you stop them from fighting?
I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Wright. I was frightened. I couldn't move. I couldn't even speak. I was in such shock.
That's perfectly understandable, my dear.
This doesn't sound right. I don't believe this testimony for a minute.
What happened after that?
While Mystic Maya was still stumbling, Mystic Elise moved in to deliver a fatal strike.
She moved in to deliver a fatal strike?
Yes, I'm sure of it. She threw down her staff and reached into her robe for a weapon.
Wait a minute. What was this weapon?
It was some kind of dagger.
A dagger? Huh. And Elise Donim tried to stab her with this weapon? To kill Miss Faye?
Yes, exactly.
Huh.
You look like I did after mistakenly took a swig of Worcestershire sauce.
Why did- okay.
Do you have a problem with the testimony we're hearing from your client, lawyer boy?
Do I have a problem with Iris's testimony? I mean, yes? Your Honor, I have a small problem with the witness's testimony.
You do? But this witness is your own client.
Yeah, where is the dagger, right? Yes, well, nevertheless. I mean, it's not just that. Like, okay. There's a few things going on. One, we know that the staff is a weapon, which I'm pretty sure no one else does. Actually, maybe Godot knows. No, we kept that secret, right? Only me and, yeah. Only me and Gumshoe know. There's also the fact that I don't think that, Misty Faye would stab her own daughter. So, there's that too. I'm not sure which one to present for this. We're gonna see.
That's fine. Witness, let's add your last statement to the testimony.
Yes, sir.
Hey, just a moment. It's my job to say that. Listen, Gramps. I won't say it again. Final judgment will be rendered by me. Okay, now. Let's continue.
She threw her staff away and pulled a dagger from inside her robe.
I'm considering... I want to hear the dialogue from this. I'm gonna do it. Hold on. Go back to that statement. And then?
Mystic Maya, she turned things around and then she used the weapon she had taken and lunged forward for a strike.
Witness, are you absolutely certain?
Yes, but believe me, she had no choice. If Mystic Maya hadn't done something...
Maya Faye's name would have been written on this autopsy report instead. Yes, I see.
This is bad. I still can't put the pieces together. Unless I find a contradiction in her testimony. Maya's gonna get blamed for this.
I only have this to say.
She threw the staff. Okay, I'm gonna press this. I'm pretty sure this is the thing I have to present on. She threw her staff away?
Mystic Elise was trying to kill Mystic Maya. I think that's why she wanted a more lethal weapon.
It's true. It's not easy to inflict a deadly blow with a staff.
Sister Iris, let me make sure I've got this straight. The victim herself chose to throw away her staff?
Yes, that's what I saw.
Is there anything odd about that, Mr. Wright?
Yeah, it's odd, alright.
Mystic Elise attacked Mystic Maya with the dagger. I'm sure of this.
Wait, where is she? There we go. Elise Donim would have never attacked Maya Faye.
How can you be so sure?
Because the victim's real name was not Elise Donim. Her real name was Misty Faye.
Faye?
Ah!
No, not Misty Faye.
But who is this Misty Faye? Is she related to...
Misty Faye is the master of the Korean channeling technique. She's also the mother of Maya Faye.
Are you serious?
Is it really true, Mr. Wright? Was Elise Donim actually the Great Mystic Misty?
There's no doubt about it. It looks like Iris had no idea.
I can hardly believe it.
The idea that she would try to kill her only daughter, one she hasn't seen in 17 years? Perhaps the prosecution can offer some explanation as to why she would do such a thing.
Order in the court. There's no doubt about it. This certainly is odd. I find it difficult to believe that a mother would try to kill her own daughter.
Huh.
If it turns out that I'm wrong about this,
I'll quit my day job and open up a coffee house. I'd like to believe that domestic violence cases like these never occur, but unfortunately, they're all too common. That's why people drink bitter coffee, you know? Is that why?
You brought to light a very interesting fact, Mr. Wright. But I must agree with the prosecution that domestic violence is not all that rare.
You don't mean?
The fact that they were mother and daughter doesn't itself disprove the witnesses' claims. I think it would be best if we return to the testimony at hand.
Yes, Your Honor.
Somehow, it looks like I'm gonna have to find another contradiction in her testimony. Yeah, I'm gonna present the staff. Something more conclusive than this. Let's go present the staff on that statement. Sister Iris, there's something strange about your version of the events.
Huh?
Miss Stoneham throwing his staff away makes no sense at all to me.
But all you can do with a staff is hit someone.
Naturally, you wouldn't know this, Sister Iris, but the victim's staff had a special feature about it. As you can see, it's a sword.
Oh.
If Elise Stoneham really had wanted to kill Maya Fey, she wouldn't have needed to use a separate dagger. Not when she already had a beautiful blade in her hands already. Not when she already had a... Okay.
Order in the court. Upon first hearing the witness's testimony, it seemed natural enough. However, in light of some facts that have just been presented, once the victim supposedly threw away a sword during a fight, that the victim supposedly threw away a sword during a fight, and 2, that the 2 people battling to the death were mother and daughter, despite the facts being believable when taken on their own. When taken together, the entire story seems difficult to believe.
Right? I just realized I have the wrong capture card on. Oops! Hey, look at that. Cool. One of those is zoomed in for the Wii U. I must have selected the wrong one. Okay, cool. Listen, there's nothing in the world that is impossible. Except for one little thing.
Yes? What is this one little impossible thing?
You still don't get it. You think maybe my beans are under-roasted, but you have no idea, Gramps. Could you get to your point?
I heard the witness's confession this morning.
Just as I had taken my first sip of my 8th cup of morning coffee. Fuck. Also, hold on. I noticed that my laptop is not muted. Oh, we're gonna do that. Okay. Morning coffee. 8th cup of morning coffee. Morning coffee.
You're going to ruin your health, my friend. Anyway, after hearing this woman's confession, I had a detective who loves to investigate sent to the scene of the crime. And he discovered this little beauty. Is that the dagger the witness testified to seeing?
Obviously, Your Honor. But do you not notice something else?
Now that you mention it, if you look closely, there appears to be blood on it.
What? Where did you find that? I didn't see that when I investigated the crime scene. Did you investigate the pine tree at the crime scene? Huh? The pine tree. His dagger was stuck in the backside of the pine tree. When the last blow was struck, ending the violent battle between the 2 women, this little baby was thrown in the direction of the back of the pine tree.
Which means the blood on this dagger belongs to the victim, correct?
Huh. Were you even listening, old man? Yeah, that definitely doesn't look like a pine tree. That looked like a bonsai tree. Maybe it's like, I was gonna say like Japanese pine, but I don't know, maybe. I'd have to look that up. Eat your hamburger up. Yeah. That's one of my favorite memes. Eat your hamburgers, Apollo. Apollo is a character in the next game that I don't know if I'm playing yet or not. Anyway. I first heard this confession this morning. Just as I had taken the first sip of my 13th cup of morning coffee. Didn't you say it was your 8th just a few minutes ago? I didn't have enough time to get the blood analyzed on such short notice. In any case, the court will accept the dagger as evidence. Furthermore, I ordered the blood test Furthermore, I ordered that a blood test be performed on it immediately. Very good. I love that fucking comic. It's so good. Hi, Paperette. Are you late to court? Casual Slam Jam. Oh, okay. Casual Slam Jam came by before, like, as the stream was starting. And was like, jail, jail, jail. This is my sweetheart. Make sure you treat her right. No, I did call everyone to court this time.
Bailiff, get this piece of evidence to the crime lab for testing immediately.
I was here. Okay. You know, I don't know you weren't. I have no idea. I never got my court summons. Do you want... I can put this in the MCU Discord instead and summon everyone.
Dagger added to the court records.
Okay.
Now then. The testimony we just heard had numerous unbelievable aspects to it. However, after having found...
Oh, god damn it. My nail polish just came off. Again. Looks so bad! Damn it, I'm missing, like, several nails of nail polish. Okay.
However, after having found the very dagger the witness spoke of, I believe we can consider her testimony to be credible.
You girls never lie, ever.
In any case, witness, if you could please testify again to this court.
About what, Your Honor?
About the incident you saw, the battle between the two women.
Yes, Your Honor. Mystic Maya stumbled briefly after being hit over the head with the staff. But then she dodged Mystic Elise's next attack and stole her weapon. Suddenly, Mystic Elise was the one on the defensive with her back to the stone lantern. That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise. Mystic Elise managed to fling the knife away, but then she collapsed.
That was a very heartbreaking story.
I don't know if there were any bad feelings between them, but... It had been 17 years since Mystic Maya's disappearance. Perhaps they simply didn't recognize each other anymore.
That seems reasonable. Now then, Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination.
Mystic Maya stumbled briefly after being hit over the head with a staff.
Iris, where were you standing when you witnessed all of this?
What do you mean?
Nail polish takes so long to paint, it's a crime. Yeah, exactly. Also, my nail polish falls off within, like, a day. Because I fucking, like, as soon as I go to the gym, like, my nail polish will just, like, chip. It's a pain in the ass. I've had to repaint this, like, 3 times. But I think I'm gonna just take, it seems like there's enough of it that I'm just gonna, like, take it all off this time. Anyway. I use, oh my god, I don't even know what brand it is now. Yeah, I do. Actually, yeah. I don't know if I do enough. I use a top coat. Like, I do use a base coat, then I put the nail polish on, however many layers, and I do, like, a top coat. Maybe, like... I'm wondering if I should, like... paint, I guess, the top, like, here? I don't know. It's, so... Yeah, let's go paint her. I know, right? I have a bunch of nail polish in my fridge. But also, like, my nails are very, like, fragile. Like, they'll, like, bend a lot, and I think that has to do with why they, like, they just fall off. I know, yes. Well, if either of them had noticed you, they might not have continued their battle.
I wonder if that's true.
Get them the fuck out of the fridge. No! I don't have anywhere to put them if they're not in my fridge.
The two of them, they were standing near the garden stone lantern. I was watching the whole thing from behind. It was dark when the two of them were, so... I think that's why they didn't see me.
I need, like, a nail polish holder or something, then, that I can, like, hang on my wall. I don't know.
So it was dark in the garden when the murder took place. Tell me, what did Miss Maya Fey do after she was struck?
Then she dodged Mystic Elise's next attack and stole her weapon.
What happened to the victim's staff then?
I'm not sure. The area was very dark, so I really couldn't see. I think it got knocked away somewhere as the fight escalated.
That makes sense. That would explain the need for the dagger.
Mystic Elise raised the dagger to strike, but Mystic Maya dodged at the last second. The dagger struck the lantern and fell to the ground. And then at some point, Mystic Maya picked it up.
Nothing sounds especially strange yet. What did... Stop shaming me!
What did the victim do when the weapon was stolen from her?
Suddenly, Mystic Elise was the one on the defensive with her back to the stone lantern.
I'm curious about something. Yeah. She got stabbed in the back. 6-pack fridge. I was like, I have one of those in my mom's house, but I don't know. It's probably dead and gone. Also, apparently they don't need to be stored in the fridge, so there's that. Guys, I do not have any empty drawers. All my drawers are full. I need to get a new thing to store the nail polish in. Okay, I'm pretty sure I have to present this on this, so let's press this to hear more about it. You're saying that Maya Fey turned the tables on the victim. Great quote. Good quote. Very good quote.
Yes. But Mystic Maya wasn't herself at the time. After all, her life was in danger.
I still can't believe it. The idea of Maya cornering someone at knife point is just silly.
As they say, a cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal. I believe the correct description of a cornered fox is scared and petrified. Your animal analogies have grown tiresome. How many cups is that? I don't know. I haven't been counting. Like five? Five? Is it 5 or 6? Eat the raspberries or drink the wine. The raspberry should be in the fruit, drawer anyway, but... Is there too much stuff in there? I said you could have those blackberries. The raspberries in the wine. You were the one who started it. Yeah, they're my raspberries. I gotta eat them. Yeah. Those are my raspberries for eating on stream at 5 p.m. So probably tomorrow. Anyway. So after Maya Fey backed the victim into the stone lantern, what happened next?
That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise.
Are you absolutely certain that's what you saw? They're not new blackberries. They are week-old blackberries. That I meant to offer to Great Newtons, like, last Friday, and I forgot. Bye, paper. Are you absolutely certain that's what you saw?
Yes, I'm almost certain.
Almost?
The garden was very dark. I couldn't really tell who was who.
What did she just say? Excuse me. So, in other words, it could have been someone else entirely?
Objection!
We know that Maya Fey was at the inner temple that night. And that woman that was killed was Elise Donim. Well, okay, no, that's not exactly it. Like, I know he likes blackberries, so I had a bunch that I wasn't gonna eat. I didn't need them. So yes. That's pretty accurate? Okay, cool. Sometimes they go moldy before that happens, though, so... I mean, I try to eat all my berries before the end of the week. And then we get into the crime eats moldy berries thing, which is not true. No, they're not moldy. God damn it. If they're moldy, they go into the trash. And that the woman that was killed was Elise Donim. Isn't it fairly obvious who attacked who? I don't have anything to counter that yet. Well then, witness, please continue with your testimony. They weren't moldy today when I looked.
Yes, Your Honor. The two of them faced each other for a moment. Then Mystic Maya rushed straight into Mystic Elise. Then Mystic Elise doubled over and fell to the ground.
So she was stabbed in the stomach, huh?
Yes.
Which thing should I present this on? Autopsy report. Something about you just isn't right today, Iris. Uh-oh.
Huh?
Until now, I didn't think you were the type to make such a careless mistake. However, the testimony you just gave contains quite a few contradictions.
What do you mean? What's so wrong about my testimony?
According to you? God damn it, guys. Maya face stabbed the victim while she had her back to the stone lantern, correct?
Yes, that's right. But in that case, the victim would have been stabbed in the stomach, right?
Yeah. Yes, I think so. But, according to the autopsy report, the cause of death was due to blood loss from a stab wound in her back. This proves that the victim was stabbed from behind, not from the front. Sister Iris, it appears another seed of doubt has sprouted from your testimony. What? What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? Ha! It's simple. No mold, hooray! People are like books. We've got a front and a back. You get my
Break
drift?
our blunts. Objection, no mold.
Objection! No mold. Some of them are not squishy, right?
Lantern mute. Drink, new cup.
Right. Is that all you have to say? I can also say that darkness loves to play with the human mind. Would you please knock it off with the cheesy proverbs and illogical metaphors already? The point is, too much of her testimony just doesn't make sense. Throwing away useful staff, the people fighting being mother and daughter. And now she falsely claims the victim was stabbed in the stomach. There certainly are some inconsistencies. Well, Iris, how about it?
Well, it's just...
If you ask me, you're just being too naive about the whole thing. What do you mean? There are 253 distinct types of bitterness in coffee. But to pick out each one requires total concentration and the use of all the senses. Were you really concentrating on what this witness actually said? Prosecutor Godot, explain yourself. The witness was quite ambiguous about her own ambiguities when she said that the garden was dark and she couldn't see clearly. A human needs one thing to see clearly, and that is light. Light. By the way, did you know? Hazakura has a rule that on nights when an acolyte is at the inner temple training, the stone lanterns in the garden must be kept lit. I did wonder what those stone lanterns were there for. Well, if that's true, shouldn't the witness have been able to see the crime more clearly? Normally, yes, Your Honor, but according to the head nun, Sister Bikini, on the night of the crime, it was impossible to light that stone lantern. Impossible? It hadn't been used in a long time and the wick was no good. In other words, it had to have been nearly pitch black in the garden that night. There could have been a faint light coming from the training hall, but that's all. Most enlightening. Yes, that illuminating fact has chased all the contradictions away. If the staff was dropped, it would be difficult to see. It also explains why they didn't recognize each other. We can't see the demons that lurk in the night. That's why humans are weak. Isn't that right, Trite? Ugh. No! Wasn't that the lantern inverted? What do you mean? Hold on. I'm looking, which lantern is it? It's the one with the writing on it, right? Do we have a picture of that? I don't think we do. No. Her name was upside down because, they were saying that she was upside down. Or she was like... I don't fucking know. I don't know how she would have reached up there. That doesn't make any sense to me, but I also don't have a picture of it right now, so I can't reference it.
Yeah, the yeah, the lantern where, Maya's name was actually, you know, Yeah, where Maya's name was written. I'm pretty sure they said that her writing was upside down, though, because she was, like, lying on her back writing it. No, that doesn't make any sense, does it? Okay, well, I'm sure they'll circle around to that. I don't have any evidence that shows any of that stuff right now, so I can't remember. Oh, here, there we go. Here, Your Honor. Let me present the stone lantern into evidence. Maybe it will rekindle the flame of truth in your mind. Why is the judge just sitting there with a look on his face? What's wrong, Your Honor? Was that flame too hot? This lantern. There's something written on it. Why? It's written in blood. Oh boy. So the judge didn't know about that yet. Written in blood? It says Maya upside down. What the?
Oh yes, that's right. After being cornered and stabbed by Mystic Maya, Mystic Elise didn't fall down right away. She must have been writing that on the stone lantern behind her, with the blood that was draining out of her body.
It certainly looks that way. Hey, hang on just a minute. What are you all talking about? What do you mean, what are we all talking about? We're talking about the message written in blood. Nonsense. This lantern is as clean as a whistle. Could it be? You can't see the bloody writing at all? Now that I think of it, he did say something to me yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. So that's what he meant by that. In any case, this is obviously an important clue. We now know that the crime scene was dark, and that the victim scrawled this message on the stone lantern. Well, Mr. Godot, anything further? He's pissed. Mr. Godot. Okay then, let's move on. Godot is literally shaking, and somehow I don't think it's from caffeine overdose. So, knowing that he can't see red, like, I know he mentioned that during the last case, but it's been really interesting, all the other cases in this game. I think there's been at least one reference to that, like, in every case this game. Ever since, like, Godot showed up. I remember it being, like, oh, you know, the one example I can think of, well, he can't see red, I think, because his visor is red. Which case was it? I think there was a case where, fuck, it was so long ago. There was, like, ketchup on someone's apron, and he made a comment about he could see all the other stuff, but he was like, there's no ketchup on this. Which, obviously, like, I didn't realize, oh, shit, sorry. I didn't realize that, like, the first time I played through it, but playing through it again, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, and I picked up on that fact. I believe it has now been established that Miss Stoneham was killed by Maya Fey. That's just wrong. Now it's time to turn our attention to you.
Yes, sir.
After the victim died, you did something, didn't you? Let's hear it. We're all ears.
After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. I thought it was my duty to protect the future master of the Korean tradition. So I removed the body from the inner temple by myself. I dragged it behind me all the way across Dusky Bridge. Then I used the snowmobile to carry it back to Hazakura Temple, and... I used the Shishishito... No way! To alter the way the room looked.
So you moved the body.
Yes, I was raised at Hazakura Temple. I owe a great deal of thanks to the Fae Clan. But even so, I never imagined that Elise Donim was actually Misty Fae. I've committed a terrible sin.
A terrible trick of fate. I believe you're looking for Twist of Fate, Your Honor.
I intend to return to the inner temple after taking care of the body. But...
You were spotted by the head nun, correct?
Yes, and that's why I couldn't go back.
Your story makes sense, I suppose. Mr. Wright, go ahead with your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure there is a bunch of weather data stuff in this testimony that's wrong. But we'll see.
After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya.
So you waited until everything was over before making a move?
No, it's not like that.
She saw someone murdered right in front of her eyes. It's not surprising that she was a little timid. Yes, I suppose that's true. Sometimes when I'm watching lawyers argue back and forth with each other, I feel so helpless that I sit quietly and just wait for them to reach a conclusion.
Isn't it your job as the judge to mediate the argument?
It wasn't until Mystic Maya saw me that it finally dawned on her what she had done. I thought it was my duty to protect the future master of the Korean tradition.
So then, you knew? You knew the significance of the name Maya Fey?
Yes, of course I did.
That's odd. I mean, Sister Bikini didn't recognize Maya's name, let alone her position.
Anyway, she was a very special person indeed. So I removed the body from the inner temple myself.
Why did you do that?
Because I didn't want Mystic Maya to be suspected in any way. I thought the best thing would be to remove the body from the crime scene.
You moved her body all by yourself?
Yes, I did. It would have been impossible if it wasn't for the snow.
The snow, huh?
I dragged it behind me all the way across Dusky Bridge.
It's pretty amazing you could make it all the way across. That's a rickety old bridge.
It looks worse than it is. It's surprisingly sturdy despite its age.
It's like they say, idiots are too stupid to catch even a simple cold.
But there's one other thing that bothers me. Why not just throw the body into Eagle River? It would have been much easier than dragging it all the way back to Hazakura Temple.
I thought that it would still cast much suspicion on Mystic Maya. That's why I tried to take the body as far away as possible.
Huh. Makes perfect sense to me. For the time being. Anyway, what did you do after you crossed the bridge?
Then I used the snowmobile to carry it back to Hazakura Temple, and...
The snowmobile? I knew that would show up sooner or later. Give me a picture of snowmobile. There we go. Time. It's the tracks. It's the tracks again. Hello, that's Korean, and I can only kind of read Korean, but I don't understand it. Hello.
Actually, it's been a really long time since I tried to read Korean, so I can't even read it. I'm sorry. Hello, welcome.
Yes, I had the key. I used the snowmobile to travel from Hazakura Temple to Dusky Bridge.
This is the part that was in English, or... I'm freaking reading chat at the same time. This is the part that was in question the other day. Should I ask, for more details? I guess? I'm gonna ask about... the tracks? If you really did move her body by snowmobile, then there should be tracks left in the snow, right? Well, yes, naturally you would expect tracks. This picture was presented at yesterday's trial. Are these the tracks from that ride?
Yes, I think they are.
But I can only see one set of tracks here.
I don't see what's so strange about that. Snow was still falling when I left Hazakura Temple.
I see. Snow was still falling, huh?
And then when the murder took place, it had already stopped. That's why there are such fresh-looking tracks.
How about it, Mr. Wright? What do you think about this testimony? When the murder took place, the snow had already stopped? That doesn't make sense if you stack it up against the other evidence. Your Honor, I'd like the statement Iris just made added to the testimony. But, does it have something to do with the case? All will be made clear if you allow her statement to be added to the record. Huh. This should be fun. Was that 8? 10?
Let's get this snow business cleared up, shall we?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped.
I don't want to believe it, but I don't think my logic is failing me. Iris is trying to pin the murder on Maya. But why would she want to do that? There's only one reason I can think of.
Why would she want to do that?
Give me that weather data. Oh shit, that wasn't it. Fuck! I was so sure that was it. Okay. Where do I present that? I went and called out to Mystic Maya. Okay. Oh. I see. Time the murder. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna try this again. I hope this is the right statement to present it on. Okay. You claim that the snow had already stopped when the murder occurred. But I'm sorry, Iris. That just isn't possible. Why did I have to present it on that statement? This is the weather data from that night of the murder. According to this, the snow didn't stop until 10:50 p.m. But you couldn't have crossed Dusky Bridge at that time.
What? Why do you say that?
Because 5 minutes before the snow stopped, Dusky Bridge was struck by lightning and had caught on fire.
What did you say? The bridge, it was on fire?
You don't mean to say you didn't know about it? It was because of that lightning strike that the bridge burned down.
What? But it can't be.
It looks like you still haven't figured it out. no matter how hard you try to deceive or conceal the truth, you can't pull the wool over the eyes of a real defense attorney.
No.
Order, order, order. The bridge was already on fire when the incident took place. That's right. The inner temple was already totally cut off from the outside world. There's no way you could have crossed that bridge, body or no body. Witness, even my patience has its limits. Of course, garlic salt. Can't forget the garlic salt. I need to get some more garlic salt. I think we are almost out. Who's Nick? You missed a moldy berry discussion, or lack of moldy berry discussion earlier. Any further lying and I will find you in contempt of court. Do you have anything to say for yourself? Another cup of coffee. The only person here that is truly contemptible is you. Good old Dick Nick. Old man. Oh shoot, there was a sentence there that I shouldn't have separated that. Me? How dare you? Whether this witness lied or not does not mean squat right now. Squat? The important thing now is to find out the truth, isn't that right? Yes, of course, but whether it was snowing or not snowing, or whether the bridge was burning or not, there are two facts that cannot be disputed. First, the body of Elise Donim was discovered in the Hazakura temple courtyard. And second, the head nun, Sister Bikini, witnessed Iris desecrating Elise Donim's body. He makes a good point on both accounts.
That's right. I'm not lying.
What are you claiming this time?
I wasn't myself at all that night, so my memory is still somewhat hazy.
How big is this? Oh, okay. With parsley. The one I have right now is like a shaker, but it has like a grinding thing on the end of it, which is nice. You've stood at that witness stand and testified this entire time. Are you telling us now that your memory of that night is hazy? It's only human to err. And if you're so perfect trite, then maybe you can explain this to the court? What is it? When the murder happened, the bridge had already burnt down. But somehow the body traveled across the bridge and was found in the temple courtyard. Perhaps you have some kind of perfect explanation for this little magic trick? Well, not exactly, no. I know there must be some other way she got across that burnt-out bridge. But unless I can somehow demonstrate it, we'll never know the truth. It looks like the defense is not prepared to offer a suitable explanation. Yeah, the sketch!
You see what I mean?
In other words, you're in no position to suggest that this lady's testimony isn't the truth.
Rent mute. Drink, new cup.
All right, then. Witness, let's hear your testimony once more.
About what, Your Honor?
You've admitted that you moved this victim's body. Nevertheless, your prior testimony contained a rather large inconsistency. Please add an explanation for that to your testimony.
Yes, Your Honor.
Will this be her final testimony? Boy, moving the body.
Other than walking over to the bridge, there's no way to move the body. So I must have just gotten confused, I guess. Was the snow still falling, or had it stopped? Does it really matter that much? Or are you saying that there's a way to cross a burning bridge?
So it was just a misunderstanding, I see. This is a photo of Dusky Bridge after it burned down from the lightning blast. It was taken on the morning after the incident. It certainly was burnt to a crisp, and one of the suspension wires even snapped. It's amazing the whole bridge didn't fall. Clearly, it would be impossible to carry a corpse across a bridge in this condition. Unless I do something to discredit this testimony, it's gonna be deemed as the truth, and Maya will be accused of murder. Trite. I'm only going to say it one more time. It is only human to err, and only humans can spot the errors of our ways. The more sense he makes, the less sense he makes. All right, Mr. Wright, please begin your final cross-examination.
Other than walking over to the bridge, there's no way to move the body.
Yes, but if the snow had already stopped when the incident took place...
I couldn't have crossed the bridge, naturally. But I think it's just like Mr. Godot said. The body did make it across somehow. So I must have just gotten confused, I guess.
But you seemed to be quite sure of yourself when you gave your testimony. You said that you were sure the snow had already stopped.
I'm terribly sorry. I was wrong.
Does she really think an apology is going to get her off the hook?
Was the snow still falling or had it stopped? Does it really matter that much?
This is no joke. You're giving sworn testimony in a court of law.
Well, Mr. Wright, let me ask you a question. Do you remember what the weather was like 1 week ago today?
Huh? Well, naturally it was,
You see, it's not that easy to remember, is it?
But if it had been some kind of special day, I would have remembered. For example, it was pouring rain on the day of my elementary school graduation.
No one wants to hear about your childhood traumas, Trite.
What?
By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. If you insist on obsessing over that one statement, let's see the proof. Show some evidence that the body somehow crossed the bridge while it was on fire.
Oh, bye, Che! Thanks for stopping by!
Or are you saying that there's a way to cross the burning bridge?
Well, I don't see why there couldn't be a way across.
Mr. Wright, don't you think that sounds a bit silly? A dead body crossing a burning bridge? Did anyone actually witness such a thing? If there was, I don't think you'd call someone like that a witness. After all, a dream isn't the same as actually seeing something.
I've come all this way. I owe it to everyone to figure this out. But how do you transport a body across a burning bridge? I know exactly how to do it. Let's go. Even if I don't know the exact answer yet, it's okay. I'll start by examining all my evidence and see where it takes me. I've got to be like a shark. If I don't keep moving, I'm as good as dead. Yeah, swing across. Yeah. I wanted to go through all the dialogue options to see if there was anything interesting. I'm pretty sure I can present, this picture anywhere. Literally anywhere. There we go. A dead body flying over a burning bridge. I wouldn't exactly rule out the possibility. What?
You're saying it's possible? Don't make me laugh. The only thing that's possible about your claim is that it's been pulled out of thin air.
I don't know about that. In any case, we have a witness who did see it happen. Preposterous! Who is it? Who is this witness? I can't chicken out here. I've got to keep on the attack and go, go! Miss Elise Stonham's brilliant and highly gifted apprentice.
Laurie Stoneham.
A brilliant,
Highly gifted apprentice? Remember what he said in his testimony? That night he was at the Mountain Shack, Heavenly Hall. And that's when he witnessed the event. I think you've all seen this sketch before. It's an exact drawing of what he witnessed that night.
Are you serious? Today's not April Fool's Day, is it? Mr. Wright, are you seriously claiming that the victim flew through the air? And you're just using this pathetic scribble to support your argument? Uh-oh. The judge looks like he's about to blow a gasket. Well, trite. There's nowhere for you to hide now. Other than looking like it was drawn by a 6-year-old, does this sketch prove anything?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it does, and I'm gonna prove it.
Listen, I know your tricks. You're trying to turn this whole thing upside down.
Yo, that's a really good emote with the Santa hat. That is great. I didn't know that you could unlock a Santa hat.
If you're so eager to turn this case upside down, why not start with the sketch?
Upside down? Why did Godot say that?
Alright then, let's hear the defense's theory. What exactly is the sketch trying to show?
I don't think old Whiskerface is gonna forgive any more mistakes. Alright, Phoenix, look carefully and think it over. Let's save. Yes. Oh, indeed. This sketch drawn by Laurie Stoneham is... Hold on. Oh, the walkthrough is saying... Okay, hold on. I'm gonna do this because there's apparently some good dialogue here. Yeah, he saw it upside... He did see it upside down, yeah. Say the sketch is a complete Okay, I'm gonna do that. For no penalty. Let's check this. Something is obviously very funny about this sketch.
I'm no art critic, but even I can see that.
No, that's not what I mean, Your Honor. Laurie Stoneham stated it over and over. Oh, shit. Never mind. I should have... This was the right answer. I should have hit the other answer. Oh, well. That's fine. That the sketch was exactly as he saw it. However, if we're to believe his testimony, then the sketch contradicts reality as we know it.
It contradicts reality? Huh. This is getting interesting.
Looks like you're back to that finger-pointing thing again. Okay, Trite. So what exactly contradicts reality as we know it? The fuck do I have to point it at? The suspension wire? It's this wire connected to the bridge.
The wire?
Huh. Is that the thing that contradicts reality?
It is indeed.
Then show us the reality it supposedly conflicts with. Show us something that will point out how the sketch contradicts reality.
The Dusky Bridge photo?
That's a photo of Dusky Bridge, correct?
Yes. Now, compare the sketch and the photo for a minute. In the sketch, the wires appear to be above the guard wires. But on the actual Dusky Bridge...
Jumping Jehoshaphat!
The wires are below the guard wires. What? I mean, he's the one who told us to flip it upside down.
Order, order, order. This sketch is somewhat different than what's depicted in the photo. However, isn't that likely that the artist just saw it wrong?
Or perhaps he just drew it wrong? Either way, it sounds like you're just wrong.
With someone like Laurie's, I admit, a mistake is definitely a possibility. But, then that begs the question, why did he make a mistake? What was the reason?
Are you saying you know the answer to that?
Listen, think back, alright?
Remember what Loris was doing when he witnessed this event? He was at Heavenly Hall waiting for a lover that was never going to come. He waited and waited, and finally he laid down. But then, lightning shoots from the sky and sets the bridge aflame. Now, ponder what sort of position Loris must have been in at the time. He was lying on his back, which is why he remembered the scene the way he did. I love how he has 2 beers and, like, 2 clementines. It's very good. And he has a comic. Excellent. Quality snacks. He was lying on his back, which is why I remember the scene as he did. He was lying on his back? I can't see how it relates. But it does, Your Honor. That is the reason why the wires in the sketch go up instead of down. Ah. Ugh, no way. Laurie Stoneham witnessed the event while he was lying on his back, face up. In other words, the scene that he saw was actually upside down. So then, the sketch should actually... I think you're finally getting it, Your Honor. The correct way to view Laurie Stoneham's sketch is like this. This is how it should actually look. The victim's body wasn't flying above the bridge. It was actually swinging below. That's right, just like a pendulum. Ridiculous! Order, order, order! Of all the things to say, a pendulum? The bridge was burning to a crisp, but there was no way to get across it. But if the body had been found at the inner temple, it would have caused problems. This is where the criminal decided to take a gamble. They used the burning bridge to get the body across to the other side. Oh my god, ignorance food. It's the same evidence, but upside down. And a pendulum was the only way to get it done. Let's think about this for a minute, shall we? Dusky Bridge is about 20 yards long, which means it's about that far from the inner temple to the opposite cliff. Yes, that sounds right. In order to cover that distance with a pendulum, you need a rope at least 10 yards long. To get a rope that long, you have to plan ahead. Sorry, I'm biting my nails. I had like a cuticle that was like bothering the hell out of me for the last like 20 minutes. Look like a Cyclops reindeer there. That's kind of spooky, actually. It's like some body horror thing. The lightning strike that that night can only have been an accident. So it doesn't make sense that the culprit would have prepared the rope beforehand. So then. They didn't have to get the rope ready. The rope was already right in front of them. What? I'm saying that it was just a matter of using what was already there. In that case, Mr. Wright, please give us an explanation to support your theory. What makes you think the criminal had the rope on hand to create a pendulum? Is it the same thing again? The Dusky Bridge photo, right? Yeah. And the meaning of this is, if you want to know where the rope came from, it's hanging right there in front of your glorious beard. Ah! This is one of the wires from the bridge. When the lightning struck the bridge and set it on fire, one of those suspension wires came loose from its anchor. The criminal didn't have any time to waste, so they tied the wire around Elise Stoneham's body. Because there was simply no other way to move the body. Mr. Godot? It seems that Mr. Godot is more focused on his coffee than answering my question. It seems that the odds of a rope being readily available were very high. So I suppose that's not an impossibility after all.
Possible or impossible? That's not the question we need to ask. There's only one question. Did that really happen? Trite. I wonder if you can prove what happened to us. Do you have any actual evidence that the body was swung over like a pendulum?
Yeah, right? The autopsy report. Wasn't there... Hold on. Body fell 10 feet after death. Whoop. Down, right? That makes sense, I think. Before I present my evidence, let me review what we know so far. According to this photo, one of the wires snapped. Looking at the map, we can see it's the one side that was in front of the inner temple. So then, was that the spot where the criminal... Yes, precisely. Now let's consider the body's movement by looking at the overhead map again. If the body was pushed from this point here, it would drop on the opposite bank at approximately this point. Did you say drop?
Well, they must have failed to catch the body on the other bank.
What? What makes you think something like that happened?
Because I have evidence that suggests her body dropped some distance.
What kind of evidence?
Take a look at this autopsy report. It says here that her body fell about 10 feet after her death.
10 feet, huh?
That's most likely the height difference between the two sides. The body overswung due to forward momentum, but then came loose and fell about 10 feet. And then, as a result of the landing impact, this crystal sphere was knocked loose.
That's...
Yes, this blood-stained amethyst crystal. It's the one that came off of Miss Elise Donham's staff. And even more important is the place where this crystal sphere was found.
Indeed. I believe it's already marked on the overhead map.
The crystal was found... Precisely, Your Honor. In the very spot where the pendulum would arrive if given the right amount of speed. Give it to Liv Stardew, wifey. Yeah.
This explains your theory quite well, Mr. Wright. You have provided us with a way the body could have been moved that night. An impressive deduction, Mr. Wright. Most impressive. Mr. Wright?
I thought this cold coffee might help cool you down.
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Godot?
I'm out of water.
That was a dark and bitter guess that you made, Trite. But you forgot about one thing. Oh? And what would that be?
The aroma.
What?
A coffee's most reliable accomplice is its deep and profound aroma.
The rest of the court doesn't speak Coffinese. Can you please elaborate a bit more?
If the criminal had sent the body to the other side like you say, then naturally there must have been an accomplice lying in wait to catch it.
An accomplice?
Coffee fiend. The criminal wasn't able to cross Dusky Bridge. So, who collected the body? What do you have to say about that, Trite?
Mr. Godot is correct. This can't be the work of a single person. Well, Mr. Wright, you know what you must do.
Yes, Your Honor. The body couldn't have made it to Hazakura Temple without an accomplice.
Very well then, if you please, Mr. Wright. Who was the person that received the body on the Hazakura Temple side?
You guys know the answer to this before I pick it? Okay. Okay. On the Hazakura Temple side, it was Iris.
only be you, Sister Iris.
Huh? Ah! But I
don't see why you're so surprised. The only way to transport the body from Dusky Bridge is by snowmobile. But with her bad back, Sister Bikini could never pick up a body like that. You're the only one that could have managed it. Trite. Were you even listening to the witness's testimony? On the night of the crime, this little cutie pie was on cleanup duty in the inner temple garden after the mother-daughter bloodbath. I haven't forgotten, but have you, Mr. Godot? This witness was also seen at Hazakura Temple, desecrating the corpse of victim. Strange indeed. It's almost as if, on that night, the defendant was in 2 different places at the same time. Sister Iris, let me ask you something. Why didn't you mention it when you first gave your testimony?
Mention what?
The pendulum, of course. Using the sketch drawn by an eyewitness, I have established how the body was moved using the burnt-out bridge. Which means it's now a fact that this occurred, something you should have already known.
No, I had no idea. I didn't know anything about a pendulum.
But the body couldn't have been passed along to the other side without your help. So you should have known about it. In fact, it'd be impossible for you to be clueless about this whole thing. Unless you're not really Iris to begin with.
What? How can you say that, Mr. Wright?
What? What kind of nonsense is this? You're not saying this witness isn't... You're saying this witness isn't Iris of Hazakura Temple? Are you serious, Trite? You mean that this woman is... There's no one besides Iris that could have received the corpse that night. Now, I get it. Now I know why I've been sick to my stomach this whole trial. Why her whole demeanor changed so suddenly from yesterday. And why she's trying to pin this murder on Maya. The woman that's standing here at the witness stand, her real name is... Delia Hawthorne! I never thought I'd have to I never thought I'd have to utter your name again, let alone see you. It's been a long time. Dahlia Hawthorne. Hawthorne? Sister Iris had a twin sister. And you're looking at her, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. That name rings some bells. Distant bells, but bells nonetheless. It's just your imagination, Gramps. This file contains all the relevant data about Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh yes, I remember now. That case. 5 years ago. Oh, we didn't get it as evidence. Okay.
My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I just want to say, it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence.
What the fuck voice was I doing for Pain? The honor is all mine.
No, the honor is all mine. But, according to this, Dahlia Hawthorne is already dead. It says her execution was carried out last month. So what? Death has no meaning in this courtroom. What? Order, order, order.
What? Wait a moment. How can you... My sister... She's already dead. What kind of...
You, of all people, should understand. After all, the blood of the master of the Korean channeling technique flows within that body. The Korean channeling technique? Now, where have I heard that? The knife would have never been entered into evidence since it wasn't presented during discovery. Yes!
They actually made a point of that, like, in another case, but yeah.
The Korean channeling technique? Now where have I heard that? That's right, you're not Dahlia Hawthorne herself. You're the spirit of Dahlia, currently inhabiting the body of a spirit medium. What an exciting story. Exciting, but quite impossible. You're asking us to buy that Dahlia Hawthorne just happened to be channeled by someone on the very night of the murder to a temple where her twin sister Iris was? Well, if you're gonna put things that way, then yes. We're supposed to believe that a coincidence like that just happens? Naturally. It was no coincidence. Naturally, it was no coincidence. The whole thing was part of a plan from the very beginning. It's all written right here in these instructions.
What's that?
These instructions were written by your mother, Morgan Fay. And part of the plan called for Dahlia Hawthorne to be channeled. That night, there were 2 irises at Hazakura Temple. Two of them? Even the time of the channeling was planned out. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, in other words, 10 p.m. However, Iris was seen before dinner time. That means that Iris was at dinner with the real Iris. That means the Iris that was at the dinner was the real... Okay, yes. And the Iris who gave me this hood in the main hall was also the real Iris. Meaning that the Iris Sister Bikini saw at the inner temple was someone else dressed as her, namely, one Dahlia Hawthorne. Do you even know what you're saying, Trite? This whole channeling the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne business. Yes, it's true that you found plans that talk about it. However, there's one thing that's perfectly clear. The witness currently standing in the witness stand is the real Iris. What? Calm down and remember what you know about the night of the crime. After meeting Sister Bikini, the Dahlia Hawthorne that had been channeled would have been stranded at the inner temple due to the lightning strike. It was later that the body was moved by pendulum. That's right. Naturally, that would mean that the Iris that received the body was the real Iris. Are you with me so far? Yes. After being notified of what happened, the police came to Hazakura Temple's main hall. There they found Iris in her room and arrested her. And ever since, she's been under police supervision at the detention center. Yes, I suppose. I can't deny any of that. Whew. Thank goodness.
It looks like he's finally convinced.
But something still seems off, like way off. I'm still not convinced that the Iris here is the same one from the other night.
I suppose you're about to say something really ridiculous. Like the real Iris and the spirit of Dahlia somehow switched places.
Switched places? To be perfectly honest, there are still quite a few things I don't understand, but I do know that unless we confirm the witness's identity, we can't continue with this trial.
Iris doesn't have the spiritual power needed to channel Dahlia, which means they must have switched places somewhere.
Well, Mr. Wright, since the time she was arrested at Hazakura Temple, have there been any changes or chances for Iris to switch places with Dahlia Hawthorne? Yes, there was one. Your Honor, I think there might have been one chance. Oh? Explain yourself. Yesterday, for a few minutes, Iris's whereabouts were unknown.
Unknown? What do you mean?
What I mean is, there was a span of time in which Iris was able to move about freely, unsupervised. Well, who was it? Who would give a murder suspect some time to move around freely like that? I'm sorry. I know you didn't mean to. It wasn't your fault. The person who gave Iris the chance to freely move about was... I'm sorry, Edgeworth. This is Mr. Edgeworth, isn't it?
Your Honor, there was a fairly large earthquake yesterday, was there not?
An earthquake?
Earthquake!
Oh my goodness! The inner temple! This kind of tremor might... How could I have? She fled. She escaped.
We went to the inner temple right away. And it's true, Iris was already there. However, they had already switched places by that point in time. When I arrived at the training hall, I was met by none other than Dahlia Hawthorne.
That's quite enough already, Mr. Wright. Now see here. No judge in his right mind would consider the idea of spirit channeling and...
Be quiet.
It's been a long time, Mr. Judge.
That voice.
Guess I'll have to ask again. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask for her name and profession. That's one of my rules.
New cup? I wish I had more water, but I don't. This is almost, I'm pretty sure this is almost the end of this chapter, though.
Dahlia Hawthorne. And my current profession? Permanently retired.
Huh.
So you're not going to bother hiding your identity anymore, huh?
Why should I? After all, I'm dead. There's really nothing you can do to punish me.
What is going on here?
Dahlia Hawthorne. I never thought we'd meet again. And I never thought we'd meet like this. Yeah, I did throw Edgeworth under the bus. I had no choice. But this time, I'll end it. For her and for myself.
To be continued.